Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace and blessings be upon everybody that's want to listen to this talk. And Halito, greetings to all. This talk really, I think that one of the things that I always try to do is get people to think. Even within my journey of learning my family tree and learning that I'm indigenous to America, I had to be made to think. And sometimes you got to be made to think because a lot of us get stagnated in our thoughts. Okay, we get stagnated in the way that we think, in the way that we feel. And a lot of times we're stuck on stuff out of emotion, and it's not because we actually have evidence for what we believe or evidence for whether we believe this historical fact or whatever. A lot of it is just you're indoctrinated to believe a certain thing because, or this is what you was told in school. So you just believe it because this is what everybody's been saying, right? And one of the things I wish I do is get people to think, you know? So that's what this class really is going to be about. Just thinking about the concept of a creator, you know? And I know that everybody has different beliefs. Like I have family members that listen to me. They're not Muslim. Okay. I have different friends on my page that are not Muslim. And a lot of my friends on my page are Muslims. Okay. So one of the things I try to get people to understand is that things are conceptual. What's the concept of a creator? You know, human beings just didn't come about from smoke. Like it just wasn't one day human beings just were here, you know? And if you really think about the human being, you think about the concept of a human, the thing that the energy that it takes to think, to walk, the whole setup of the body, how things are interconnected, and the speech, the fact that sound comes out of your mouth, the fact that your retinas, the way the brain works, the heart, the lungs, all these different parts of the human body, the blood vessels. That if anything is off about it, anything, if anything's wrong, the human body is not the same. It's a limp or retardation, a sickness, anything, something is off about the human being, something goes off about him in totality. Okay? It's an exact science, if I can say that word. You know, I don't want to use the word science, but it's an exact mathematical miracle, the human body. It really is. If you think about melanin, and I don't like the word melanin is a scientific word. Just think about melanin for a second. I don't think a lot of us even go into that and try to really concept that we walk around every day and we're brown skin and we're dark skin, right? For those who are richly melanated, right? You don't think about the benefits of melanin. You don't even try to feed it because we don't understand that. We don't go research it. It's actually a solar panel, the way that it works. It's amazing. And it takes in all this sun energy to the point where if you took in enough, you wouldn't have to eat as much anymore. The energy itself will just keep your body going from the sun. And I'm saying this from experience because I sunbathe and I sun gaze. For half an hour every day, I soak in the sun. And I'm telling you, melanin itself, excuse me, I have to turn this thing on. It's an amazing thing. And I'm just mentioning it to show that there's no way that this melanin exist as a thing and that somebody didn't create it. That's just plain and simple. And another thing I would like to say is that if you think about religion, right? Let's say deen, because I don't like using the word religion, right? Let's say deen. One of the main things that I'm learning about Islam and deen itself and other religions, you know what I mean, out there too, that I'm researching. If you look at them, one of the main things of them, you look at Isa alayhi salam, look at what they call Jesus Christ, you look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the other messengers that different people follow. One of the main things they had was akhlaq, mannerisms. They had good behavior. And the reason I'm saying that, I was listening to a talk show yesterday, and it was by this guy named Gabriel Rich. Pretty decent guy too, man. I'm just trying to get him on here on the live to talk about some historical things and things with slave trade and the different things about, you know, that fiction and the indigenous people of America, who are true identity, but that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, and so a guy was on there. This guy was called, I think his name was Black Jesus Minister or something like that. Real religious guy as far as Christianity is concerned, right? But the whole time he's on this show, you would think that claiming to follow a prophet, that you have better manners. I mean, literally, on somebody else's talk show, and your behavior was atrocious. You slandered the man on his own talk show. You talked bad about the man. You attacked his character. I mean, insulted him and everything like that. And I'm saying is that as Muslims, man, one of the main things, a lot of times people see what you do, not what you say. People see what you do. They don't hear what you say, but they definitely see what you do. And this is why I'm reminding everybody, we got to be better ambassadors as far as how we behave ourselves. You know, how we talk, how we carry ourselves in the street. You understand? I try to pride myself on how I deal with people and talk to people. You know? Yeah, I'm from the hood, so when I talk a little hoodish, but I'm never disrespectful. I never cuss at people. I never disrespect them. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people, you never know. They may accept your dawah or your call based upon the fact of how you treated them. One time you met them, you treated them in perfect kindness. That individual may accept your call later in life just because of that meeting. But anyway, that's just something I want to get off my chest in the beginning. So we said al-adamu la yaf'alu shay'an, right? Something that's non-existent can't do anything. Okay, so we can't to believe that this whole entire universe just one day popped out the oven. You know, one day it just popped out the oven and here we go. I mean, in all its uniqueness and all of its connections and all its variations, one day it just popped out. An explosion happened somewhere in space, and that was it. It was nobody who caused and affected upon that, and no caused that. Anyway, he says, "Al-adamu la yaf'alu shay'an hadha amrun muttafaq alayhi bayna an-nasi jami'an." And he says that something that's non-existent cannot do anything, and it cannot create anything. It cannot make anything happen. And this is something that is an agreement basically upon everybody. For the most part, nobody believes that something happened without making it happen. Even atheists, deep inside, they don't believe that. And even them, they're going to say, oh, well, the Big Bang Theory happened, gases. They even have to go and explain a cause and effect to something. No one on the planet believes that everything came about without nothing happening at all. Nobody believes that. You know, I've never met nobody who believed that. If you did, then type it in. It says, وَلَا يُخَالِفُهُ إِلَّا مَجْنُونَ فَلَا يُمْكِنْ لأي عاقل أن يصدق أن الساعة التي بيدك أو أن تلك طائرة أو مسطرة قد أوجدها الأدم وأنه لا صانع لها. And he says that no one disagrees with this, what I just said, except somebody who lost his mind. Okay, nobody believes that, except somebody who lost his mind, right? And it's not even possible for anybody that has any intelligence in his brain, that if he believes that the watch that's around your arm, or the hat that's on my head, or the shoe that's on my feet, even the money in my pocket, that somebody didn't make it. That somebody didn't make it. Somebody put this zipper on my pants. Somebody put this feather. Well, I put the feather in my hat, but somebody did put the feather in my hat. I did. You feel me? Somebody made this hat. Somebody made this shirt I have on. You understand what I'm saying? And the airplane in the sky, or the ruler that you have, right? People have rulers in their book bags, whatever the case may be. No one's going to say that these things came about with nobody making them. Nobody actually bringing together pieces and parts and putting these things together and then presenting it. Nobody's going to say that. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even kind of touches on this when he says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ أَمْ خَلَقُوا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. And Allah, he says, وَأَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ. He says, or were they created from nothing, or did they create themselves? Meaning, did the human being or anything create itself? How is that even possible? Something brought something about. Something happened to bring something else about. You understand what I'm saying? A bed is not going to make itself. You have to go make the bed. There has to be a cause and effect. You understand what I'm saying? You won't get wet by yourself. You have to get into the water. Everything that happens in life has a cause that causes that effect on it. That's just how it is. That's how it's set up. Something's going to cause you to die one day. I don't know if you're going to get shot, ran over, sickness, old age. Something's going to happen to cause you to leave this plane and go to the next one. That's just bottom line. That's how this thing works. Okay? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? Right? Will you not then take heed, or will you not then give thought? Will you not think about it for a second? If you eat, that causes you to go to the bathroom. And I know it sounds funny, but I'm just trying to get us to think on a small level here. This is not difficult. It's not difficult at all. And again, I know people have different beliefs, but no matter what spirituality or what concept we have, we all believe in a creation story. We all believe something happened to bring about something. Every culture on the planet has it. The indigenous Americans have that story. The Asians, the indigenous Africans, the indigenous European, everybody on the planet has some type of story about how humans came about or how life came about. Plain and simple. Because human beings it had to be made conceptual to the mind of a human being how he came about. Okay? If that makes any sense to anybody, right? So what we get from this, he says, La but li kulli fi'lin min fa'il. We get from this that for every action, there's one who does the action. So everything that happens, something brings it about. Let's bring on a small level. Let's bring on this level. Clouds come, it rains. Okay, somebody brought the clouds. But even if you don't believe somebody brought the clouds, let's say for somebody who doesn't believe they brought the clouds, right? Let's say whatever, man. But the clouds caused it to rain. Just on that level. For the clouds came, they were dark, they carried rain in them, and then the rain came out of them. It wouldn't have rained if the clouds didn't come. So again, you cannot get past cause and effect. There's no way to get around it, right? You work, you get tired, you go to sleep. Okay? You don't eat, you get hungry. You don't drink, you get thirsty. In fact, I'm thirsty right now. Right? It says, La but li kulli masnu' min sani'. And he says, and it's mandatory that for every exactly. And he says, for everything that's manufactured, there's somebody who manufactured it. Right? La but li kulli makhluq min khaliq. And for everything that's created, there's someone who created it. Al-fi'lu mira' liqudrati sani'ihi wa sifatihi. And he says now, for everything that we see made or manufactured or done, it's a mirror and it shows the ability of the one who made it. Okay? And I'm going to show you some examples. Just bear with me. And it shows the attributes of the one who made it. It says, Ma hiya alaqa bayna masnu' wa sani'i. He says, what is the connection between the manufactured things that's manufactured or created or made from the one who made it? He said, كيف ذلك تأمل جيدا في مسطرة التي بين يديك فتجد أنها مراء مصغرة للقدرة نجار الذي صنعها ستجد أنها مصنوعة من الخشب. And he says, look, pay attention. Look at a ruler, right? You got a ruler, go to school. You got one of the rulers in your book bag. You take it out, right? You're going to find that it does show the ability, right, and the intelligence of the Najjar, of the carpenter, of the one who made it. Because it didn't just come off a tree and then form into a ruler, right? As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he says, Ahsanul Khaliqeen, right? He mentions that he's the best of creators, right? But he mentioned plural for creators. But what does he mean here? He means that there's two types of creation. There's the creation from nothing, creating something from nothing, which is his ability. And there's the creators on the earth, on the earthly plane, that creates, but they create from things that's already created. Meaning they want to make a tire, they got to get rubber that's already created. They didn't create rubber, but they're going to take rubber and other things and manufacture a tire from that and create a tire from it. You understand? Or people, they take straw. I don't even know where straw comes from. Somebody tell me where straw comes from, but they take straw, whatever this is made out of, they made a hat. They didn't make the straw or the wood or whatever this came from. They didn't make it. But they used those things that were available to them, that was created by somebody else, to now create something new with old material that was already created. All right? Okay? So, so he goes and he says, and the sani' mustara ladayhi khashab. One thing we get from this is that, first of all, to create something, you have to have the ability to do it. I mean, you have to have the materials to do it. And then the intelligence and the know-how to make it into what you want to make it in. We know that right there and then. We know that a carpenter, he has wood, he knows how to make wood, take a tree and make it into something else. We know he has that ability and those attributes because he did it. We know that, right? وأن الصانع مصطرى يقدر على صنع مساطر من خشب وترى أن مسطرة ملسأ منظمة شكل مستقيم حواف ستعرف بعقلك. And he says that the manufacturer of the ruler, we know he has the ability to make rulers from wood. So we know that we see clearly that he took wood, and obviously the wood was chopped down from a tree, and it started off bumpy, and the tree probably bent this way, and he had to cut a piece off the wood. Then he had to smooth the wood out. Okay, so he had to think. Okay, what size do I need? How much wood do I need? He had all the math done, right? That shows his intelligence, right? And he smoothed out the edges. The edges are smooth now. So he took a piece of wood that maybe was a log, I don't know. Then he smoothed it out, took a piece, and made different rulers out of it, right? And the intellect accepts that. We understand that. We don't got to see him do that. I didn't have to see the carpenter make the ruler, because I know it comes from wood, so I know he got it from a tree. And I know a tree didn't start off as a ruler. So I know he has the ability now to take the ruler and make it, to take the tree and make it into a ruler, right? Right? It's أن الصانع مصطرى يقدر على تقطيع خشب بأشكال منظمة. And we see from that he also has the ability to what? To chop down the wood, break the wood down into pieces, like I said, right? And make other shapes from it. So again, that takes intelligence. That's not, so everybody can't do that. We say, well, that's nothing. I can take a piece of wood. No, that's not that easy. Because I can't go get a piece of wood right now and turn it into a ruler. I'm be honest with you. I don't have that ability. Okay? I don't. That takes time and learning. So from that, we also pick up that he has intellect, that he has the ability to learn. So the point I'm pointing out here is that every time you see something that's made, I don't care if it's a bottle, somebody made this bottle and had the ability, the mathematics and the science to make sure how hot this bottle's supposed to be, how much plastic it took, how much water needed to go in it. He had that ability. So what about the creator? What about the one who created the person and gave him the intellect and the ability to do the things that he's doing? Okay? Right? Also, we get from it that you look at a ruler, it's not bent, it's not curved. Now, you may find a ruler sometimes that has some deficiencies in it. Man is man. Human beings make mistakes. So we don't find anything that man makes that's perfect. But clearly we see that a ruler is smooth. The edges are smooth. It's not bent. It shows the perfection or the semi-perfection or the great ability of the carpenter. Like this pen. This pen was plastic. Somebody made this from plastic. This was plastic at one time. Look at it. Look how sharp it is and even it is. What's up, man? What's up, Salah? You know what I'm saying? Look at that. And you look at the pyramids. right? Look at the pyramids in America, right? Look at the mounds. Look at the pyramids in South America, Central America, the pyramids they found in America, the mounds they found all through America of our ancestors built here. The indigenous people of the Americas, aka American Indians, right? Or aka Black Indians, right? I mean, that's science. That wasn't easy. That wasn't simple. They did this with stone in the mounds. They wasn't dirt piles. Okay, they were destroyed by cannons and broke down. In a lot of the cathedrals we see in America, the churches we see, the cathedrals, the old cathedrals, were built from the stones that were taken from the mounds. So our people built buildings in stone. They lived in teepees. They lived in palaces and mounds that was built with stone. Okay, the stone was taken away from. But the point I'm making is that look at the intelligence that it took to build these types of things. And this is talking about what, thousands of years ago? Hundreds of years ago they was doing this? Okay? You got to think about how they was moving this stone. What kind of intelligence or science they was using to move these stones from them rock quarries. And then shave the stones down into squares and the shapes, different shapes and sizes to fit them. That took math. That took intellect. That showed the ability of them, but also showed the ability of one who created them. Because where did get this thought from? Where did they get the ability to think? I'm in Detroit right now, and I don't know if I'm going to be back in Atlanta at that time, inshallah. So he says, المسطرة مقسمة بخطوط سوداء إلى أقسام المستوية ستعرف معرفة لا شك فيها. And صانع مسطرة لديه لون أسود. And also he says that we clearly see that on the ruler we see the different cuts, the different lines that are black lines and stuff like that in them, right? And we see the fact that it's done equally, measured out. Each line has a measurement. It's the size that it needs to be. It's where it needs to be. So that goes to show you that he had the ability, somebody had the ability to put these marks there. It took a steady hand to do this. Okay? So you can't give something you don't got. Again, it goes back to the creator. He had to give. You can't give something you don't have. Okay? If you look at the universe, it's even more unique and more intact than a ruler could ever be. Somebody did that. Somebody made it, what's the word I'm looking for? Ordered to the point where it's exact. It keeps moving in the same exact way too, though, without stopping. Okay? So, it says, وَتَعْرِفُ أَيْضًا تفكيرك معرفة يقينية بعض صفات الصانع ستعرف بأقلك. He says, so when you sit back and you think about everything that I just mentioned, right? The first thing that comes, you're going to say, man, my man put that work in. My man know how to play basketball. My man know how to make a ruler. My man know how to play football. You know what I'm saying? I look at the pyramids and the mounds, I'm like, man, these people got it in. I mean, you can't even remake that stuff right now. Like the Pyramid of the Sun over there in Mexico, near Mexico City. Right? One of the largest pyramids in the world. It's still intact, still looks the same. They can't do that again. I mean, with all this technology, their skyscrapers don't even match up to the math of these buildings. Don't even match up. We're talking about thousands of years ago. They don't match up. So what high level of thought and process and concepts was these people upon to bring that about? You understand what I'm saying? Like that's, you can't even begin to even to fathom that. You can't, your mind can't begin to fathom something like that. Okay? إذا أن الدقيقة في تقطيع حواف مسطرة في تقسيمها إلى أجزاء منظمة دقيقة لا تكون إلا من صنع عاقلة مفكرة قادرة على التقطيع وتخطيط منتظم. And also basically saying the same thing. If you see the way that the ruler is designed from its smooth edges, its measured out points, the black lines that's in it, you clearly see that whoever did this had the ability and the intellect to bring this type of fine tuning about. Okay, and the point I'm making here is that if you want to know about the Creator, then look at the creation. Just like you look at the maker of anything. Somebody know how to make a Lamborghini, you're gonna be like, man, I'm man how to make cars. You're gonna look at the man who made that Lamborghini, because you don't have to see him make it. You see the finished product. So you want him to do that for you because you've seen his work. The same thing with the Creator. You see his work. You see clearly what's going on here. You see, every day you go outside, the sun shines in your face. And you're supposed to use this stuff. When the last time any of us used the sun to sun gaze and to take in the sun rays? And not think it's some weird stuff. It has nothing to do with worshiping the sun or, no, it doesn't. It's healthy, actually. I've been doing it for about 6 months now, and this is the most energized I've been in my life. My skin tone, I don't eat as much because I'm energized. It's actually beneficial. We say we believe in Allah, but He created all these things here for us to benefit. Allah sakhara hadi ashya lana. Allah is the one that made this stuff for us. He made this stuff subjected to us. What's your point of existence? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created land masses and put people on them. Okay? As for us here, the indigenous people of the Americas, who they call black and all of that, you got a landmass. Allah gave you one. You're supposed to take care of it. Not throw trash in the streets. And I'm talking to the indigenous people at this point right now, specifically. You're throwing trash in your own neighborhoods. And this is for some of you Muslims too. Throwing trash. You driving around, you open your window, you throw trash out. SubhanAllah. That's what the earth is for? That's why the Creator put you on the earth? That's why all these beautiful trees here? And these beautiful animals? The air that we breathe in? For you to throw trash on the ground? No, you're held accountable for the land you live on. It's yours. What are you going to do with it? But you treat it horribly. You urinate in places you're not supposed to be urinating. You defecate in places you're not supposed to be defecating. You throwing trash everywhere. And even more so than that, alhamdulillah, wa alaikum salam, what's going on, Big Mike? And even more than that, what are you really doing? I mean, the laws that you're breaking on this place. Disrespecting the women. All of this stuff is oppressing the earth that was given to you as a gift. So now he's going to talk about a car, right? فأنا صانع السيارة لديه حديد وزجاج وأسلاك ومطاط. As for the person who makes a car, right? We know for a fact that he has metal, glass, wire, and rubber. That's the things that make up a car for the most part, right? So he has those 4 things. Now those 4 things, he didn't create those 4 things. He didn't create rubber. He didn't create the things that made the wire neither. He didn't create glass. Well, he may have made the shape of glass, but glass comes from sand. So he had to take sand, heat it up, and make glass from it, right? So even still, he had to take something from somewhere else to make something else. Metal, he got that from the earth, out the ground, in caves. So he took all these things that he didn't create, and by Allah's permission, he created something else called a car. Okay? But now you open the car up, you get in there, you open your car door, you open it up, the door opens, you sit down, the seat feels good, the steering wheel is rubber, you got all the machinery, all the gears and all the things you drive, reverse, neutral. That shows you that the person or the people that came up with this idea, who made this car, had the ability to think intellectually, had the ability to come up with ideas. Because guess what? They come up with different ideas every year. We never stop and think about, well, wait a minute. Wow. We don't look at the universe like that, though. Think about that. Because we have been made to be so entrapped and indoctrinated and living in cities overcome by concrete that we don't even stop to even look at the universe for a second. For a second. And alhamdulillah, Allah has allowed me to every day, at least a half an hour, almost every day, to where I take off my shoes, I go in the grass, I sun gaze, I stare, I let the sun bathe on me, and I think about the fact that, look at that, it's a lamp in the sky that I'm benefiting from. It's sitting there. I'm taking in sun rays from it. Huh? We don't look at the universe. A person with a PlayStation, let's take something simple as a PlayStation. The gears that come up to make that. Right? The ideas that they have, every year they come up with new games, new ideas. The stuff gets better and better, looks more real and real. Human beings have a lot of intelligence. They come up with airplanes, submarines, jets, bombs, new guns, new swords, new clothes, new ideas. But do we ever stop to think and be amazed by the simple fact that it's a fireball sitting in the sky? That you feel its heat. Then when the night comes, it's a white ball in the sky. That it's going to be nighttime in a second. And we're watching it change. No, because we're indoctrinated. We're moving too fast. Got to slow down a little bit. وأن الصانع سيارة يقدر على تشكيل الحديد والزجاج وأسلاك ومطاط بأشكال مناسبة لصنع السيارة. He said, what we get from this, we clearly see that the one who builds the car, he's able to now maneuver and create styles and fashion this metal, this glass and these wires and this rubber in a way that it fits into a car suitably, meaning it makes up the car. Because if one of those things are missing off that car, the car won't run as well. It might fall apart. It might not start. How about the universe? Imagine if the human being missing an eye. Things change for that human being. Think about the human being is missing a hand. Things change for you. If your brain doesn't work like it's supposed to. If you don't have taste buds. If anything is missing off this machine called the human body, it won't work well. It might not start. Or it might just die out. You understand what I'm saying? So what about the creator? The one who fashioned everything? أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ? Do we not stop and think about it for a second? Just that. Stop before you do anything. Stop and think about the fact that if you're looking at creation, what they've done, and it's amazing, it is. Airplanes flying over your head. Go downtown, man. Some of the stuff they're doing in different cities in America with these subways and these trains and these different technologies, and the cell phone is amazing. I remember when Back to the Future 2 came out. Y'all remember that? If some of y'all telling y'all age, I see Brother Akil Ingram on here. He know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Marty McFly and Back to the Future. You know what I'm talking about. When they had the cell phones that you can turn them on and talk to people and see their face, we didn't have that back then. Nobody ever thought about that like that. But now we got cell phones today that we can sit here and have video chats with each other. But in that movie, when it came out, there was no such thing as video chatting. There was no such thing. A cell phone is amazing. It's a TV. It's a computer. I mean, you got every home device in your pocket when you go outside. It's a benefit and it can be a fitna. But that's another conversation. But at the end of the day, look what man can do. And we're amazed by it. We buy the new iPhone every time it comes out. But do we stop? Do we stop and look at the heavens and the earth? And look at the human body. Came from sperm. Liquid that came out of a man into a woman. And formed bones and flesh and thought. أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ? And if we thought like this, I'm talking to myself. How much less sin would we do? How much less corruption would be on the earth? Just something small like that, right? So he says, So he says, so المخلوقات مراء لبعض قدرة الخالق وبعض صفاته. Right? هل المخلوقات إذن مراء لقدرة خالقها وصفاته? So the question is that now we see clearly someone who makes a ruler in a car. We see the type of ability they have, the type of intellect they have to have, the type of knowledge they have to have, of math, of science. They have to have intelligence. They have to know how to place things, how things fit. They have to know how to write a schematic. It takes intelligence. Right? So we know that. On a human realm. Right? On a human realm. We look at animals, right? We're going to get into that. Now he says, نعم فعلاقة بين مخلوقات وخالقها وثيقة كالعلاقة بين الصانع ومصنوعاته التي بيناها سابقا هكذا تسبح مخلوق وراء لقدرة خالقها وصفاته. And he says that yes, the alaka, or the connection between the created, the things that are created and its creator, is just like the manufacturer and the thing that was manufactured. So in your mind right now, you have a ruler and a car. Somebody created those things, right? Somebody created this hat, shoes. Somebody created shoestrings, because then they went together. Now I could tie my shoe. Somebody created this bottle. I could put water in it, right? Somebody made this bottle to put coconut oil with olive oil in, right? Somebody made those things. A miswak, all that stuff comes from something. It didn't come by itself. Somebody made it from something else. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. And those things that were made or manufactured, it shows you the ability of the one who manufactured it. So let's go to the creator. We got the human down. So he says, أننا عندما نشاهد الملايين من مخلوقات محكمة التركيب تخلق كل يوم نعرف معرفة العقلية أن لها خالقا خلقها وأوجدها. And he says every day we clearly see, or we witness, millions upon millions or billions or whatever men of creation, things that we see every day. We see how they're set up and created. We clearly see it every day, that the intellect will tell you that somebody made it. A great white shark, for example. Scared to death of him. Ever since I seen Jaws, I've not been back in the ocean since then. I was about 8 years old when I seen Jaws. And guess what? I haven't been back in the ocean since then. I let the water hit my feet. That's it. It scared me that bad, right? Don't laugh either, because it's not funny. But the thing is, the great white shark, right? They don't never stop moving. I don't know. They have to sleep. Nothing doesn't sleep. But, I mean, they don't stop moving. I don't know if they close their eyes or what. I don't know how it works. But I know they don't stop moving. Right? And they breathe. The fish breathes in salt water. Water. It gets air from water. You try to go underwater and breathe. Every time its tooth is like a shot glass. And every time it loses one comes direct. I don't know where all these teeth come from. One comes direct. One teeth falls out. Another one starts coming in. Every single time. Try to imagine that. Just for a second. Try to fathom that. See, these are things that we need to be thinking about. This is the practical tawheed I'm talking about. These are the things that we need to be constantly pushing every day to our people. Pushing to them how to think, how to stop for a second and breathe and get away from the cell phone, get away from the TV for a second. And go ponder. Go to the woods and ponder. Go to the park. Take your shoes off, man. Feet get in that grass, man, and ponder. Man, go to that beach and ponder. Go let them waves hit your feet. I ain't getting in it, but let them waves hit your feet. So, then he says, وَأَنَّنَا says, فَكُلِّ يَوْمٍ نعرف معرفة يقينية بعقولنا أن الحياة التي دبت وخلقت في تلك كائنات الحية من صنع محيي وأحياها. And he says, Every day we see this, right? And we know without a shadow of a doubt, what our intellect lets us know, that the life that we're living, somebody created these things that we see. The life that we live in, we know, we clearly see something gave it life. We'll see a whole area that's grass, right? Brown. It'll rain, the next day you come out there, the grass tall as you. I'm saying is that somebody causes this cause and effect. Somebody is causing this. It's not happening by itself. Nothing happens by itself. A gun doesn't come up, walk down the street and shoot people. People shoot people. The point I'm making is I'm trying to bring us home to home style realities. If you want to hurt somebody, you ain't going to think in your mind, let them be hurt, and all of a sudden they hurt. No, you got to go hurt them. Why would they be like, may Allah protect you from that and protect us from being hurt by somebody? I mean, but what I'm saying is that things are done that causes something else to be done. And it shows the evil. If somebody, for a mass murder, for example, right? Somebody commits mass murders, goes shoot up a mall, or a serial killer. When you see what he did, that shows you the mindset of the person. Everything you see that's an act shows you the person, or shows you the thought pattern of the person, shows the ability of the person, shows what the person was thinking at the time. It shows the concept or the mentality of that thing, the ability of that person or that thing. Somebody get chewed up in the woods, they come out, they do an autopsy, they say, oh, a wolf ate this person. They leave a mark. How you not going to say that about the Creator? The created things that we see every day. Something did it. So he says, so then we think about the billion things that we see, right? That are perfect, wonder, marvels that we see. And we see marvels every day. The fact that the sun goes down in front of us. Simple as that. The sun goes down. You don't do anything to make it go down. You don't pull a switch, nothing. It just goes down. It's going to come up tomorrow. Whether you come up tomorrow or not. Whether you get up tomorrow or not, that sun's coming up. And you don't have a switch. There's no turn on switch, no turn off switch. Somebody is doing it. And it's not you. That's the point I'm making. The apple that you eat, the oranges that you eat, the bananas that you eat, somebody brought that about. And you didn't work for it. You didn't do anything for the banana in your house. It grew out the ground. Do we stop and ponder over just this water? The water is wet. I don't know. What's the concept of that? What's the reality? What makes water wet? I mean, that's amazing that Allah subhanahu water is wet. And the fact that it's wet, you can drink it, and it quenches the thirst in your mouth, on your tongue. The moisture goes into your tongue, your jaws, your throat, into your bloodstream, to your skin. Come on now, let's not play these games. We're not dealing. This thing is simple arithmetic. This is محكمة التي تنشأ أمام عينينا كل يوم في نباتات وحيوانات وبنى إنسان غيرهم وعرفنا أن تلك الصور من صنع مصور بديع. And he said, clearly we see every day right in front of us the different types of fruits and vegetables and plants and gardens that we see every day, the different types of animals and human beings. Right? Right? You got a heart beating in your chest. Think about that for a second. You have a heart beating in your chest. A heart beating in your chest. Now, I know some of us, I'm going to try to be less lively as possible. A man and a woman get together. They have relations. His liquid goes into her womb. They liquid mix together. A human baby starts to come from that. It starts as a alaqa, like a blood clot. Then it turns like to a morsel inside the womb. It like hangs down like that, right? And ain't nothing but a lump of flesh. That's all it is. Then it starts to grow into a form. It starts to get a face and hands, and but it's still closed up like this, and it's still small. Now, this is the question I gotta ask: how does bones get in that? How does bones get into that? A brain, as something as detailed as a brain, as detailed as the heart, detailed as the stomach and the lungs and the intestines and the all of that. And how is it that now that human being, if it's a male, can now produce the same liquid his father did to cause another life to come about? You can't tell me that came about by itself. You can't, even if I wasn't a religious person. My intellect's not going to let me accept that. Somebody's doing that. If you look at it at a certain, like the trimester, the third, I think it's 3 or 4 months, that trimester, you see all of a sudden the baby goes like this. The eyes open, the mouth open, starts to breathe, just like that. Go get a video and look at when it hits that last trimester, when the soul goes in and the baby comes alive inside the womb. You see the eyes open up, the hands, it starts breathing and everything. Right there. Just like that. You understand? Just like that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained it in the Quran, man, how what goes on in the womb of a stomach. Just like he explained it in detail. But the point I'm making is that if you want to know the creator, look at what he created. It shows you the ability of the one who did it. Just like the one who, for example, something clear, go get a haircut, because all of us do that, right? And I like to bring examples that we all deal with. You go to the barber shop, your favorite barber, your man come, cut your joint up, spit you up. When you go outside, they be like, man, who hit you up? Man, who sharpened you up? Who sharpened you up like that? My man down the way right here, such and such barber shop, sharpened me up. Now, that haircut showed the ability of their barber. If you want to know the skill of that barber, look at the people hair that he cuts. Right? He sharpens you up, right? So, the same thing about the creator, even a higher level. If you want to know that how the creator, then look at what he did. And you will show. It's even above being sharp. I can't even use the word sharp. Feel me? So, it says, إذا فكرت في هذه المخلوقات وجدتها تتحدث إلى عقلك ببعض صفات خالقها. He says, so if you think about it for a second, you look at these different creations, then you will find that the existence and the perfection of these things and the way they're created and whether they're brought about, it will lend it, your intellect will lend the air to this. Okay? Your intellect is going to say, man, who made this? That's the first thing you want to say. I don't care where you at. You see something, man, who made that? Whoever made this is all that. That's what we say, don't we? Now, whoever cut your hair, that's all that, bro. I need to get with him. Well, who's your barber? But we see the creation. We don't say who's your creator. The human being himself. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us able to go to the bathroom. You imagine if we ate and drank and couldn't release that filth? Man, we would die. We would just get sick and die. The fact that the human body can relieve itself. It can relieve itself. You know, it may sound funny like a butthole. Like, where did that come from? Everything is made exact. A butthole. Like, think about that. I'm sorry I'm saying it like that, but that's the truth. That thing, it's amazing. You relieve yourself from it. And then you get your way to take care of it. Istinja with water, cleaning yourself with tissue, making sure you clean. This thing is, you know. So all right. So he says, so you see the material things that we have, right? التي يتمتع بها خلق فتقول العقل إن ربها رحمن الرحيم. He said one of the things that we benefit too, right, is that when you see the material things that we benefit from every day in the material world, right? We got cars to get around. Would you imagine not having a car? You imagine not having cars. How we had to travel. We would have to travel without cars and airplanes, right? If you think about boats, if you think about clothes, if you think about houses, if you think about food and refrigerators, all the new things that we have, right? This shows the mercy of the one who created us and gave us the ability, who created thought and intent and created the materials that we use in every day to come up with these new ideas that make our lives easier. This shows mercy. Even though we tripping, even though we murder, commit mayhem, we still able to live and benefit in our lives. Right? So, right? And it's an ayah in the Quran, we're almost done here, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. Right? Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. Verily, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, waqtilaf al-layli wan nahar, and in the differing of the night and day. The night and day goes in and out. وَالْفُلْكِ الَّتِي تَجْرِي فِي الْبَحْرِ بِمَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسَ, and also in the boats that you make with your own hands from wood and trees that Allah created, right? The Creator created trees that people go across the ocean in and fish and benefit, trade. This is back then though. Now, you know, we got airplanes to do that. And people still take yachts and stuff like that too, but we got airplanes, right? وَمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَحْيَا بِهِ الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا. And he says, and Allah, he sends down from the sky of rain, water, that he brings back the earth back to life after it was dead. But yet and still, do we stop and think about that? Imagine if it stopped raining today. What would happen? If it stopped raining for a year, just today, and not where on the planet it stopped raining. The rain didn't come down anymore. Or just in America, let's say the rain didn't come down in America for a year. No rain. What would happen? A cause and effect will happen. First thing is the plants and trees die. Then the animals, they die because they can't eat. Then we can't eat because we can't get to the animals or the plants because they're dead. And also what comes from that is when the plants start to die and the trees start to die, the air level goes down. Like Saddam talk about the cat. You understand? وَبَثَّ فِيهَا مِنْ كُلِّ دَابَّةٍ وَتَصْرِيفِ الرِّيَاحِ. And he says, and he spread out or created every type of animal. You ever notice how the horse and the camels and all that are made with the sloop in the middle? Seem like made for somebody just to sit in. How the camel's foot spread out when it walks so it don't sink in the sand, but you sink in the sand. But Allah gave you camels so you can walk in the sand. Horses, cows, goats, everything is right in front of you. Everything. And guess what? You don't even have to slaughter stuff anymore by yourself. I mean, stuff is already in the market, already slaughtered and killed. Right? وَالسَّحَابِ مُسَخَّرِ بَيْنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And the clouds that are going between the heavens and the earth. It's in the middle. The earth is down here, and the heavens up top. In the middle is these clouds, right? That brings down, either shades you from the sun if it's too hot, or brings you rain when you need it, right? This is what the clouds do, by the Creator's permission. Now think about a cloud. What is a cloud? What is a cloud? You can give me all the scientific stuff about it. Yeah, they can try to quantify it, but what is a cloud? And how does it hold rain in it? What's happening inside that look like smoke that make water come out of it? Stop and think about that for a second. Just for a second. Just for a second. That's it. Moment of silence real quick. Just to ponder this reality. لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. And these are signs for people who have intellect. Right? For people that have intellect. So that's the point I wanted to get over. But the next class is going to be on just the human body. It's going to be أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. And in yourselves there are signs. So the next class is going to be just talking about the bone structure, how the human body works. Okay? And because I want to bring people to the reality of using your pondering, just to ponder. Because we got to stop playing. We got to start trying to get spiritual, y'all, and stop just being religious. Because being religious is not spiritual. I'm sorry. They're not the same thing. Religious, you do rituals every day. Okay? And you dress the part, you talk the part. But spiritual is the way you treat people, the way you talk to people, your relationship with your creator. You don't walk around and thinking you better than somebody because you're Muslim. You don't want to try to force people into your belief, and then some you don't like them because they don't believe what you believe. No, that's not spiritual, man. That's not spiritual. That's not what spirituality is. And if we're talking about aiding and abetting and aiding the indigenous population, then we got to be more spiritual. Plain and simple. Like I said, spirituality is not throwing trash on the ground. Spirituality is not being married and divorced 100 times. Spirituality is not taking care of your children. I don't care what masjid you go to, how nice you dress, how white your thobe is, how black your hijab is, how long your niqab is, sister or brother. Spirituality is actions and intent. Intent and actions. And at the end of the day, if what you're learning and what you're doing is not raising your level of consciousness and spirituality, then either one or two things are happening. Either whoever's teaching you is teaching you wrong, or you're just ignorant, or you got some hypocrisy. Because at the end of the day, we should become better human beings for what we're learning. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us better human beings. That's my whole point of my conversation. Everything I'm trying to do is trying to get us to realize the reality of spirituality and practical usage of monotheism in our lives. Because if we practically used it, trust me, there wouldn't be this much corruption. Not in ourselves anyway. We can't control other people. But at the end of the day, look around your communities. What difference are you making? If you're not making any difference, even in one person's life, then what are you really doing? And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us better. And coming up, hopefully, I'll be having some, I'm doing some lives on indigenous history. You can listen in. It should be coming up soon. Hopefully, I have some guests who I'm trying to get on to come on here. We're going to be talking about the fiction of the slave trade. We're going to be talking about the Out of Africa theory. We're going to be talking about the indoctrination and social engineering of the indigenous people, why they think the way they think and feel the way they feel, and the hiding of the history of the Americas and things like that. We're going to be talking about those issues. So it won't be a religious talk. It'll be a historic talk. So inshallah, you can listen in and wait for that to come about. And inshallah ta'ala, I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud to be a Muslim, but I'm also proud to be an indigenous American. My grandparents were Cherokee Indians, and I'm proud of it. Can't nobody tell me different. My grandparents told me what I was, and that's what I am. Okay? I can establish that. I can prove that. And that's what I am, and I'm proud to be that. And nobody's going to tell me different. Okay? So at the end of the day, being Muslim doesn't mean it erases your heritage. And anybody's teaching you that because you're Muslim, you're not concerned about your own people and your own land, then he doesn't have no idea about what Islam is. Because the Prophet ﷺ was concerned and worried about his people in his own land, to the point where he was sad and almost miserable almost when they wasn't listening to his da'wah. He felt heartbroken over it. You had messengers who turned around after their people was destroyed, turning around and looking and saying, I was a sincere advisor to you. They were still talking to their people. Still sad, still heartbroken. Nuh alayhi salam was still trying to save his son, even though the waters were flooding. He spent 950 years trying to save his people. But you turn around, you tell me I'm not supposed to do the same? And he wasn't talking to Muslims. They were talking to their own people who did not have the same beliefs they had. Okay? We're not monotheistic people here in America. Okay? We're not. And we're probably never going to be. So you got to learn to get along. You got to learn how to deal with other people. Spend time outside in the street, talking to your neighbors, drinking coffee with your neighbors. It's okay. You're not going to get a kufr bug. You know, you're not going to get sickness. You know, it's okay to talk to your neighbors. It's okay to play basketball with your neighbors. It's okay to play Uno with your neighbors. It's okay to take your neighbors a piece of cake. It's okay to talk about football and basketball with your neighbors. Show concern, sincerity with your neighbors. They're from you and you're from them. Don't let nobody teach you other than that. You're not Muslim only. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us better examples. And maybe be people that care about our own and start doing for our own. It doesn't mean that we hate anybody else. It just means that we love our own and we want to see them succeed just like everybody else want to see their own succeed. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us an example and a guiding light for those who want to follow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.